Hello PSI Gamer fans, and welcome back to part 14 of the Ice Sheet series. We are continuing from last episode with Shepard and Petra mining out an area around where we will build our spaceship. And in the morning we can see that there is a transport pod crash, and so we will be rescuing them so that Shepard may get some more medical attention, and we also may get some goodwill. In the afternoon, Tyson will make new button-down shirts for himself and McTodd, and in the evening there is a slave ship passing nearby. Petra will call the slave ship on the comms console. However, having just traded away all of our silver for a plasma sword, we will not be able to buy anything. And in the evening, there is a medium-level psychic drone for all males. The next morning, there is another transport pod crash, so we will rescue the victim for some more goodwill with the Empire, and then in the evening, Tyson finishes making 8 advanced components. This means that we now have enough resources to start building the ship reactor. Shepard starts building the reactor, and finishes it on the afternoon of the following day. Aside from being the first step to building a spaceship, the ship reactor also produces 1000 watts of power, and so we can connect it to our power grid. The following day, Petra goes to hide in her room after getting rejected by Tyson, and then in the evening, Johns finishes the research project for marine armor. And for now, I have completed all the research projects that I want to work on, and so instead of picking a new project, Johns will shut off all the research equipment and go outside to scan for resources. The following morning, we will build dining chairs next to our fabrication bench, as well as both of our ground-penetrating scanners. And in the afternoon, we can see that our Husky has accidentally stepped on one of our spike traps. Luckily, Petra is nearby, and she is able to save him. And the following day, we receive a trade offer. A nearby settlement would like to purchase 8 cochlear implants from us, and in exchange, we can receive a Psilink neuroformer as well as a small amount of gold. Because the cochlear implants are rather cheap, I think we might be able to do this trade, and so Tyson will get to work on producing some at the machining table. 2 days have passed, and Petra has triggered another infestation with our deep drills. And for this upcoming fight, McTodd will be trying on our new recon armor that we made, and she will also be using her new plasma sword. And you can see that with all of our high-end weapons, taking down the insects is a very easy task. We can also see that in the evening, one of our sheep has given birth to a baby lamb. A couple of days later, and we can see that a mechanoid cluster is landing to the northeast of our base. Luckily, there is no timer on this mechanoid cluster, so as long as we don't walk near it, it won't wake up. The following day, a short circuit causes a fire in our hydroponics room, but luckily it is put out before anything gets significantly burnt. In the afternoon, there is a psychic ship landing to the east of our base. The psychic ship is being guarded by a much larger number of mechanoids than we can hope to fight on our own, and so we will have to approach this carefully. We do have a way to damage the mechanoids from a distance, although it is rather inaccurate. We have a mortar as well as 12 mortar shells that we got from a siege last episode, and so Lek will take some of the shells and load them into the mortar to start firing on the mechanoids. The mortar is not a very accurate weapon, however we do manage to take down and injure some of the mechanoids before we run out of shells. And once we're out of mortar shells, Shepard will dig a tunnel through the mountain so we can approach the mechanoids from a safe angle. We can also see that Tyson has just finished his 8th cochlear implant, and so once we're done fighting these mechanoids, we can go do the trade deal. Now that Shepard has dug through the mountain, we are ready to do battle with the mechanoids. Before we can do this, however, Lek will activate the Psychic Soothe Pulsar that we obtained a few episodes ago, because some people are currently in poor moods, and I don't want anyone breaking down in the middle of a fight. And now it is time to fight the mechanoids. We will start the fight with McTodd distracting some of the mechs using her shield belt as cover, and then with no one shooting at him, Shepard will run up and deploy his low shield pack. This will protect everyone from any shots fired in the next 30 seconds. We take out many mechanoids in this time, however there are still some mechanoids remaining when Shepard's shield goes down, and so Petra will deploy her shield next. And by using Petra's shield pack, we can safely take out the rest of the pikemen. The following morning, Tyson will spend some time shredding some mechanoids down, and Shepard will build a transport pod. And then Petra will prepare to launch our pod by loading up some trade goods such as our baby lamb, McTodd's old thrombohorn, and our 8 cochlear implants. Petra will then fly to the neighboring town of Ponding and give them the 8 cochlear implants. She will also sell our lamb and thrombohorn and buy a small amount of gold so we can keep making advanced components. In the evening, there is a mechanoid cluster containing an auto mortar landing to the north of our base. The auto mortar will continually fire mortar shells at our base until we go to destroy it. However, there is another way to deal with auto mortars. Mortars cannot fire when they are under a roof, and currently this mechanoid cluster is sleeping. This means that Shepard can go build a wall next to the mechanoid cluster and then build a roof over the auto mortar. However, before he can do this, the auto mortar does manage to get a shot in, and it ends up destroying McTodd's art as well as some of the walls. And now we can see that the auto mortar will no longer fire, and now we can ignore this mechanoid cluster. And in the afternoon, Petra arrives back at our base, and we can use the Psylink neuroformer that she got in order to upgrade Shepard's Psylink. And now that he is at level 3 Psycaster, Shepard can cast the Beckon power at the cost of having to meditate more. In the afternoon, McTodd will work on making a new sculpture for our dining room, as the other one was just blown up. And in the evening, there is an animal migration of lynx, which Shepard, Tyson, and Petra will work together to hunt. The following day, McTodd finishes her art, and Tyson finishes making 6 advanced components. This means that Shepard can work on making the first of 3 ship engines. The following day, Shepard will lengthen our spike trap tunnel in preparation for some potentially large raids down the road, and in the afternoon we can see that there are 3 Labrador Retrievers wandering into the area, which will unfortunately be getting slaughtered. In the evening, we can also see that we have run out of steel, and so we will move our deep drill into our yard again so we can drill more steel. We will also turn on our electric smelter in order to smelt down some of the steel chunks in our yard. The next day, Petra and McTodd get into a fight after Petra made fun of McTodd's leg hair. The next day, Shepard will start working on the second engine for the ship, Tyson will start working on some new parkas for people, and 200 units of raw fungus will rain from the sky in cargo pods. Shepard will then go drill steel and finish up working on the spike traps, and Tyson will start working on a flak helmet. The following morning, we can see that the mechanoid clusters have woken up. However, if we stay away from them, they should not bother us. Later in the day, Tyson finishes the flak helmet, which McTodd will put on to replace her inferior simple helmet. And in the evening, we can see that an Arctic wolf is trying to hunt Petra, but luckily it is quickly dealt with. The following day, we can also see that a chunk of a spacecraft has landed outside of our base. And then later in that day, Shepard goes on an insulting spree because he ate without a table. The following evening, we can see that a local Arctic wolf has gone mad, but it will just run outside of our walls and not bother anybody. We can also see that Tyson has finished another flak helmet, and now this means that everyone should have a flak helmet to wear. We're also going to deconstruct our mortar because we no longer have any mortar shells, and I think we could use the steel and components. And in the evening, Tyson has finished another batch of advanced components, and so Shepard can finish the 3rd ship engine. We can also see that in the night, our Husky has walked on a trap again and has died. And the next day, Shepard can work on building a ship structural beam. The following morning, we can also see that we are being visited by some bulk goods traders, however, they are quickly murdered by all of the mechanoids. Later in the day, Shepard will build a hospital bed from steel and components to help people recover from their injuries faster. And we get to use our hospital bed just a couple of hours after we make it, as Petra gets sick with the plague. In the evening, the Arctic wolf on our map goes mad again, but this time it is immediately executed by the mechanoids. And the following morning, Tyson and Shepard will work together to excavate all of the jade from the jade meteorite to the north of our base. And in the middle of the night, we can see that we have a problem. Giant insects are tunneling into our armory. So in order to prepare for the upcoming fight, Shepard will break a hole in the wall of Petra's room to create a choke point to funnel them. We managed to take down the insects very easily, though many of our turrets were destroyed and McTodd received a scar on her eye. In the morning, our ewe gives birth to a new baby lamb, and in the evening, Shepard starts working on repairing our turrets. And the following day, we can see that McTodd has finished recovering from all of her injuries. Shepard will get working on another chem-fuel-powered generator, and McTodd will start working on a grand sculpture made of jade. The following day, Petra will start loading some trade goods into a transport pod. However, before she can finish loading it, she goes on a sad wanderer mental break. And in the middle of the night, we are being visited by an exotic goods trader, and so once Petra's done being sad, she will go talk to them. And since we have run out of gold and can no longer make any more advanced components, Petra will buy as much gold as we can afford from the traders. After this, Petra will then get into the transport pod and fly over to the nearby settlement of Ponding. She will sell them our newborn baby lamb, some insect jelly, as well as some clothing, and in exchange she will get some silver and gold. Later, we can see that a snow hare has gone mad. However, it is right next to the mechanoid cluster, and so it is immediately killed. And in the evening, Petra makes her way back to Shepard's village. And in the morning, we can see that Tyson has made enough advanced components for Shepard to build the first ship Crypto Sleep Casket. A couple of days later, and we can see that some royal tribute collectors have arrived nearby and have gotten into a fight with the local mechanoid cluster. And during the chaotic fight, we can see that unfortunately for us, the roof blocking the automortar has collapsed, and now the automortar is free to fire onto our base. In addition to this, we can also see that the mechanoids that the Imperials didn't kill are now coming to fight us. The mechanoids attacking our base are taken down rather easily. However, it is now extremely important that we take out the automortar. In order to approach the mortar without the mechanoid turrets seeing us, Shepard will dig a tunnel through the hill so that everyone can safely fire upon the automortar until it is destroyed. The following morning, there is an exotic goods trade ship passing by. However, they do not have anything that we can afford. Later in the day, Shepard starts working on a sensor cluster for our spaceship, and while this is happening, McTodd finishes working on her grand jade sculpture, which we will put into our rec room in order to make the area look nicer. And in the middle of the night, we can see that Petra will be going back to our hospital bed as she has gotten sick with the flu. And the following evening, Johns and Shepard also get sick from the flu. We can also see that in 3.7 days, the town of Ponding will be restocking all of their goods, and so once Petra gets over her flu, we will be sending her over to do another trade deal. In the middle of the night, a large group of well-equipped Outlanders shows up near our base in transport pods. Luckily, our traps are able to deter them. In the afternoon, we can see that some travelers have angered a Lancer from the mechanoid cluster and it is approaching our base. Shepard is easily able to take it down. And later we can see that Tyson has created another masterwork core set. And in the afternoon, the town of Ponding has sent us another trade offer. They would like us to deliver them 11 formal shirts, and in exchange we can get an Architect Eye. To me, that seems like a pretty good deal because formal shirts are not very expensive. And so, Tyson will get to work on making formal shirts. And in the evening, McTodd gets sick from sensory mechanites. And the next day, we have a very interesting development. Shepard has charmed Johns by complimenting her bravery, and they are now in love. Shepard will construct a double bed in his room so that he and Johns can share a bedroom, and this also means that Shepard will be now staying up at nighttime and sleeping during the day so that he has the same schedule as Johns. In the evening, there is also a psychic soothe for all females, and Tyson finishes the last formal shirt needed to make the trade deal. And the following morning, we are being raided by mechanoids who are dropping in all around the area. Petra manages to take down the Lancer that landed in our base very quickly. and all of the other mechanoids are easily taken down by our defenses. The following morning, Petra will load a transport pod with some corsets, as well as the formal shirts that Tyson made, and she will travel to the town of Ponding. Petra will first fulfill the trade offer by giving them the formal shirts. Then she will sell off the corsets that she brought in exchange for some gold and silver. In the evening, there is also a bulk goods trade ship passing by, and so Lek will sell them some leathers and some clothing in exchange for some gold and silver. The following afternoon, we can see that Petra has arrived back home. After she sneaks past the mechanoids, she can unload all of the goods that she got. In the evening, we get some cargo pods containing some plasteel, and then Petra will call the Empire on our comms console and pay them the silver that she brought home in exchange for the location of a persona core. A few uneventful days go by, and now Shepard, Tyson, and Lek are getting into transport pods and are flying to the site where the persona core is being held. The three of them arrive at the site, and it appears to be innocent enough. However, when they approach the shack where the persona core is being held, they are ambushed by a large group of alpha beavers. And though they do get into the shack and pick up the persona core, the alpha beavers now have them surrounded, and they will have to fight their way out. After the fight, Lek will cut up the alpha beavers for some meat, and then Shepard, Tyson, and Lek will start making their way home. In the evening, we also have more sheep joining us, which Petra will be slaughtering. Shepard and Lek also end up getting sick from sensory mechanites while on the road, and we can also see that Shepard ended up with a scar on his thumb. A couple of days later, and Johns ends up going on a tantrum and smashing up the art in Petra's bedroom. And in the nighttime, there's a short circuit which causes some of our rice to catch on fire. The following morning, McTodd starts to make a new piece of art for Petra's bedroom, and then there's a raid from mechanoids. The raid is easily taken care of, and then shortly afterwards, Shepard, Tyson, and Lek arrive back at the base. Tyson gets injured by one of the mechanoid turrets, but otherwise everyone manages to get home in one piece. And in the evening, we will be deconstructing our research bench, as we need the resources and we don't have any more research projects to do. The following morning, there is an exotic goods trader passing by, and so we will purchase a psychic sooth pulsar and as much gold as we can afford. Then, McTodd finishes making a new sculpture for Petra's bedroom, and finally, Shepard can take our persona core that we earned and use it to construct the ship computer core. And now, aside from cryptosleep caskets for everyone, our spaceship is complete. In order to fly the spaceship, we will have to turn on the reactor, which will require us to defend it from raiders for 15 days. We will be starting this process now. And to me, that seems like a good place to leave things off for this episode. Win or lose, next episode will be the last episode of this series. I'd like to thank you all for making it to this point in the video, and I'd also like to encourage you to leave a like if you enjoyed, and to subscribe if you are not subscribed already. With that being said, I will now be ending this video here. I will see you all next time, goodbye.